Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Back with another interview, a targeted individual. I got Wayne from Denver, and we've been talking, and he's going through a lot of the same stuff that I have. He's kind of been involved with, um, I guess, more of a organized uh, portion of this technology, where in my case, it's been kind of some neighborhood guys that have like a free for all situation. Anyway, my name's Kevin Christian, and my channel is all about remote neural monitoring and EMF broadcasts and targeted individuals. And Wayne's got a story, and he wants to tell you guys. So, how you doing, man?
Hey man, how y'all doing? Yeah, man, my name's Wayne. I'm Jay Jackson on Facebook. I'm targeted out of Denver. Uh, my story is like a lot of folks on this technology, besides just, it being illegal and being used on us, for any given reason. I fell short, man. My story is I got on opiates out of surgery about 15 years ago, stayed strung out on pain pills and stuff. Hitting the doctors and insurance, took care of all that. So I wasn't on the street level having to buy it yet. And I think by the grace of God, I never had to get that far. But my story got a lot worse than dope. But I got down here in Denver. I do HVAC work for the union. At the time, I didn't. I was still going through the trade. I got homeless here. Didn't have no vehicle. Started walking the streets of Denver. Never had any trouble here. Started hearing voices on the streets of Denver. Between the meal tickets and the free clothes I was getting and the shoes I was getting because I was so messed up. And you got to understand, I went from having a day life with two amazing children and a wife. I've been married twice, and having a normal life to being just mentally beaten down on the streets of Denver and told everything, just like the program describes, on every instance of us. And to the point of not even thinking I was good enough to eat, not even good enough to even take another step further. Well, I rose from all that. I found what was inside me, man. I was down on my back, man, and I was under a bridge, and I was at my very last rope of living. I mean, I hadn't had no contact with my family in over a year, and I was isolated like the program had described. I didn't know what the program was at the time. I thought I was fighting off enemies from the demons to everything in the world is coming at me. Everything from homosexuality being played on me on this program, thinking homosexual was after me, to every race and creed was after me, just to see what kind of person I'd play out to be, I guess. Well, I was down on my back praying to God what I had left in belief of God, and I started crying. And I just gave all my sins over, and I got on my knees, and I haven't stopped walking in my own faith. And that's what got me to where I'm at now. I'm able right now to have a decent job under this technology to allow me to provide for myself more than I have before. But that's now. 3 years ago, I ended up at a shelter called New Genesis Project. That's on Capitol Hill. The voices started increasing a lot more and a lot more. In this shelter, there's probably 100 people. In Denver, there's probably 1,200 homeless, 500 people at shelters. During this time, somebody got stabbed to death. Jim loved to stab somebody, and you Google New Genesis Incorporated in Denver, Colorado, to show it. That and multiple other instances where people had died or got stabbed. Well, while I was working there as staff in the shelter, under this technology, I was told by the woman that runs this place what they do there, which is stop crime before it happens. They do it. They stop homeless people from committing crimes and any kind of heinous things they had on their record that, the police in real time can't catch you on. They use this technology on homeless in order to promote their charges. They can find either you did something later on, early in your life you never held up for, they're going to help you hold up for. This is what it was described to me. Well, I quickly got away from that place 2 years ago. And like I said, 2 years ago, my life started changing. I started walking in my faith of something being better outside of just being beaten by technology for the rest of my life. I knew there had to be something. I started seeing people like you, Kevin, sitting there having a life, helping other people. I started seeing, another targeted person out of Orlando named T.I. Proof. I reached out to him when I was in Florida working. He's another guy who puts videos helping people. He's got a different, set of things as I do. His is more skin related. Mine and kept his voice still 24/7. You can't get out of it, no matter what you do.
Nope.
And I battle it every day. From the time I wake up to the time I sleep. If I'm not talking to somebody directly right now, or somebody in the group, and I'm paying attention to what they're saying, this technology is trying its best to kick my ass. I want to lift 30 feet up in the air every day trying to make my money, doing on-stage living, not doing no kind of illegal stuff except, 420, which is, allowed by law here in Colorado. And, this technology tries its best to giggle me off a lift or try to make me feel insecure about whatever I'm doing and compromise the position up in the air. Whatever it can do to punish me, so it says. Now, I told Kevin that, I wanted to share my brother's story. My brother's story is, his name's Scott Quinlan. He was 39 years old and passed away a month ago now. He was on his technology and is documented as well as I am and reached out to other targeted people. He was a cop in Alabama and put 2 police officers in jail and considered a whistleblower. And then they put the city up on charges and for ethics violations. 2 years later, or 2.5 years later, he was targeted to his death up to a month ago. So, my thing is, I don't know what to do. I got guys around me. I see them mumbling to themselves, talking like I'm talking to a cell phone, and knowing I'm just talking to a cell phone, and nobody being out there. They're talking like they're talking to their best friend, and they're being controlled. And the people I see being punished the worst and being treated the worst are the homeless people here in Colorado, and they're all over the place. It's like a game to them, is what they call it, the game. They sit there and they feed the homeless like they did me, and they keep us going around in circles, just to eventually kill us all.
Well, one thing that I've noticed is that when gang stalkers begin to target people, they don't go and target somebody that's got $1 million and a lot of resources. They want to target somebody that they think will be easy to defeat, somebody that won't have any credibility. If you're down and out, or if you, a lot of people that are targeted are people that are on drugs or people that are in a hard spot, and when you begin to overcome the difficult parts of life, it's bad for them, because that wasn't the plan. The plan is to find somebody that's down and out and be able to target them, because they know that's who they can easily get away with targeting. And when people like us start to overcome these gang stalkers using this technology, then that becomes really dangerous for them. And that's kind of where we're at now, with not just me and not just you, but a lot of us. There's a lot of us everywhere who are really starting to understand all of this and overcome this and realize that we can be successful, and that really is the best weapon, is to be successful and to start to gain resources and credibility, and we'll be heard and they won't be able to stop us.
Right. A good point on that, Christian, is, I got my truck this weekend. It was Saturday morning, and I went out to Denver, and I went to 7-Eleven, often a place where I and other homeless people have gathered before and hung out, to either spange or, to get a free cup of coffee, man. It is what it is when you're homeless, man. So I seen a guy sitting there with the same eyes that I had of what the hell's going on. So I went over there. I said, "Man, you want a cigarette?" So he's actually, instead of just barking at me or something like that, he actually had some intelligent tone to him. So I started talking to him. Smoked a cigarette. I rolled us up a joint. We smoked it. And we're chilling there for a minute. And he said, "Man, what's that shirt mean?" I told him what stop organized gang stalking. That's me on my Facebook flipping off. Doing my thing. Disrespecting them the best way I can on Capitol Hill as they have us all. So I gave him out some pamphlets I had made up. And I told him, I said, "Look, man," he started telling me, "Look, I hear these voices. It's everything I think of being taught outside of my head." I'm like, "Dude, yeah, right. It's just called being broadcasted, man." Up to that point, he had no idea. So I remember how lost I was that somebody said, "Hey, look, this ain't you. This is technology being used on you, man. You're not crazy. You're not, don't fall for that crazy crap." And this dude seemed like he had a glimmer of hope in him just by me just giving him just a pamphlet full of information and some websites to go to, you know, because, you know, what else are you going to do on a homeless Saturday and Sunday? You know, the library's open, you know.
Yeah.
I was in there every time I needed to get some information, watching videos, educating myself, and being the same guy that guy was sitting right there outside of 7-Eleven. Now I'm able to go buy stuff out of it and help other people in it, you know. And that feels good.
It does, man. It really does, and it's inspiring. And you know, how many people out there are going through this that really believe that they are insane?
Yeah.
That's probably the most common thing is people that are going through this really think they're crazy.
Yeah.
So
and made to feel that.
Well, let me explain something real quick about how that works. Okay, what you'll have is neural monitoring is basically it's EMF mind control neural monitoring, and everybody's in this system on this neural monitoring. Okay, even the gang stalkers are on the exact same neural monitoring, and I know this stuff firsthand from living on the front lines and knowing a lot of these people that are involved with gang stalking, and I've actually caught some of them firsthand using these mind control headsets that they wear. But so they'll access neural monitoring online on a website, and they can access theirs, but they can also access ours. But we don't have access to ours, so we can't control our own settings, and they can basically connect to us unconsensually and use it as a weapon against us. So they can broadcast, they can do things to hurt us, and they can know what we see and know what we think. So when they wear this headset and they are connected to us and we think something, a lot of times they'll be doing a live stream, and that's really what mind control is when they're receiving us. And so if we're, like you were talking about the guy you were talking to at the 7-Eleven saying that, you know, his thoughts are being repeated to him and stuff like that. And that's what a lot of us deal with is when we think, you know, they like to say what we think, and they're announcing it for their live stream, and at the same time they're really being mind controlled, and that's what they love. They love to receive other people, and to them it's like a drug. And an example that I use is imagine that you're just some regular idiot and you can connect to a rocket scientist, and now all of a sudden you're receiving all of these genius thoughts from this rocket scientist, and it all makes sense to you, and otherwise you wouldn't be able to think on that level. So it enables people to achieve a higher level of understanding and a higher state of consciousness, almost like you know, being high on a drug or something. So when they're connected to us, it's like being on drugs, and they become addicted to mind control. And in the sense of mind control, that's really what it is. And when they're repeating our thoughts, and they're being mind controlled at the same time as basically narrating for the show that they're putting on, the broadcast about our lives. And you know, that's really what's going on with the whole scenario. They love to do that, and repeating our thoughts is, and at the same time it's supposed to be mind blowing, you know, and it was to me 5 years ago, but now it's not. You know, when they say oh he thinks this, or when they answer you, it's like when they answer what you're thinking, and you're like, how the hell do they know what I'm thinking, you know? But it was like that, you know, years ago, but that's just played out now, and to me it's dumb, and I can't really understand how they could sit there on this mind control headset thing and waste their whole life. They're very addicted to mind control, and it's really sad. And if it wasn't their own choice, I would say that they're a victim of it, almost just like we are, because the technology is leaked. It's leaked intentionally, and the people who leaked this technology has been around for a long time, but now that it's on the street level, it's they knew what was going to happen. You know, just like you put some kind of crazy drug out like crack rock or something like that, and you know, you don't have to go and employ people to become crackheads. They just do it. They just become crackheads because they love it. So it's kind of the inevitable happening, and that's what's happening with this mind control also. So the only reason that the gang stalkers aren't considered a victim is because they have a choice to do this, but we don't. We don't have a choice. They didn't give us a choice.
Right.
This is unconsensual.
Yeah, I guess another thing I often wonder is, I hear I watched this video of the private security guy who was on the whistleblower and everything that he was a part of, and I appreciate that, what he done, telling us all what, he found out and all. But he said he started getting this technology used on him for whistleblowing. Well, like I said, I guess the best part about this is eventually the stalkers that doing this to us and try to make our lives a hell for whatever, a little moment of emotional, anger that I might display, in a day. They may get one out of me now, and they will one day pay for it because the technology is going to be used on them as well. Well, they don't get away from it.
It's like I like to kind of break it down because I've seen some videos that are titled. There's some really popular videos out there, and it's like ex-gang stalking operative comes clean and becomes targeted.
That's the one.
Okay, well, stuff like that. Here's the thing, man. If you have access to neural monitoring, because these gang stalkers, like all the ones I know, they're on the same neural monitoring that we're on. They just have access to it. So if you have access to neural monitoring, then it's pretty much impossible for somebody to target you with neural monitoring because you have control over your own settings. So you could just turn off whoever was bothering you or just not connect. They have the ability to choose their level of involvement and control their own settings. So somebody that's had access to neural monitoring, it's impossible for them to be targeted. So I'm very skeptical about ex-gang stalking operatives that become targeted.
I had the same mindset you have on that as well. On that point, man, I did, as far as somebody coming out like that, because I myself, I know the same type of street type of people, on that level as you do, and they're under the same V2K as I am too, but they have the accessibility to, be able to do this to others,
Well, it's like the people that, some of the people that I know that have access to neural monitoring, and, there's been times where I was around some of these people, and I don't know if you've experienced, sometimes when they're talking to you, it's like the broadcast is coming in strong, and it's almost like a form of mind control. And when they're talking, like, it almost makes you want to talk along with them. And like in the beginning, it was very difficult. Like somebody would be talking to me on the artificial telepathy, and I would just be talking along with them, like word for word, like I'm being mind controlled. Yeah. And you have to learn over time to break off from that. I would be around somebody that I know was a gang stalker, because I used to try to infiltrate any way I could, and I would be around somebody I knew was a gang stalker, and I would see them kind of mouthing to their, under their breath, but and I know what that was. Then that was them. That was somebody was talking to them. Basically, somebody was probably connected to me and telling them what I was thinking at that time, or giving them the play-by-play of what's going on in my mind while they're with me, and but I could see them mouthing along, and I know that's what it was. Is they're receiving somebody's talking to them.
Same thing too, like whatever I was thinking, and then just a few steps in front of me, somebody who I know probably fit the profile of somebody who may be under B2K due to poverty or whatever. You just got to be speaking on whatever it is I was just thinking about,
Yeah.
Like you're saying, basically, right?
Well, these gang stalkers, they're using V2K or artificial telepathy, whatever you want to call it. They use it, just as a form of communication. So, if I have my neural monitoring and you have your neural monitoring, well, we could talk about whatever we want to on, V2K, and then disconnect, and then there's no record of it. There's no phone calls. So, I can know all these gang stalkers, and talk to them daily and coordinate whatever I want to and have no association with them that's provable, like phone conversations or any kind of text messages or emails or in-person visits or nothing. We could just talk through broadcast, and they use it that way. They use it as a form of communication.
I kind of breaks it down to a lot more better understanding than what I was taking a take of it.
Yeah.
By the private security guy that you were just talking about as well.
The one thing that's very important that you have to remember this, okay? Now, if you're not on the headset, because they wear this mind control headset, okay? If you're not on the headset, you can talk to somebody with artificial telepathy, V2K, but as far as like reading minds, it's not. I mean, it's possible, but it's not nearly as strong and accurate as it would be if you had the headset on. And as far as seeing what somebody sees, it's very, very difficult. It would have to be a really good circumstance with the right lighting and a reflection, and then you might see it in the reflection or something like that. But it'd be a lot more difficult. So when you have somebody talking to you, if they know what you're thinking and they see what you see, they are definitely 100% on that mind control headset. And that means that they're not a person in public. So a lot of people are like, oh, this person was aiming their cell phone at me and they know what I'm thinking. And it's just, that's not how it works. If they know what you're thinking, it's because they're talking with the V2K to another gang stalker that is connected on the headset, because that headset is how they know what you're thinking. And when they know it, they don't see it on a screen. They know it's emitted right into their mind. And when they see what you see, they see it in their mind like they see it. They're not really, I used to think they were looking at a screen, 4 or 5 years
like
ago.
Everything, I know, it's like, it's in the morning time, like when I wake up, right? I wake up early, like 4 o'clock, so I get to work. So, like when I wake up, like the first thing I started doing was I started trying to trick program, as I call it. So I would wake up and I would see, like, I would look at my clock on the stove, and it would say, he's looking at the clock on the stove. And then it would say, by my sight, what time it is. You know what I mean? So I started breaking down how the program works. So I knew then I wasn't crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So so I started understanding how it would broadcast my thoughts.
Right. They're receiving. They can basically live as you. So they're like, picture them laying on the couch, right? Incapacitated.
Yeah.
But in their mind, they're you. They can see what you see. They can know everything that you think. It is kind of fun to throw them off, because if you imagine something in your mind, like if you daydream or if you close your eyes and
I know what you're saying, man.
Yeah, they see that too, So you could maybe look at something, but then like kind of envision something else in your mind, and it may get pretty confusing for them because they're seeing all of that at one time,
yes. Yes, exactly correct, man.
Yeah,
I know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kind of like tricked by having that capability to have a daydream or something.
Because they can watch your dreams. They can literally watch your dreams.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
That's
crazy.
I've had some that love to watch my dreams, and then some of them seem like they don't like my dreams, so they'll like do stuff like attack my toes or something to try to wake me up. They like to broadcast in my mouth, so I'll taste the broadcast. Because they can live as a broadcast.
It's like I get up at the same time, dude, the same time, and piss, and it's like the B2K voice. I say, take your sexy ass in there and take a piss right now. Like it's commanded me or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not your bitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't go to the bathroom without commentary.
Female voices. I don't have dude voices on my program. None of my voices are all females.
I've had girls and guys on my neural monitoring, but I've also had guys using girl voices. I've got this one guy who.
That's what I thought too, because I started kind of peeping out some of their lingo and jargon. I'm like, that's a dude.
Yeah.
Act like a female.
You really got to watch the personality more than the voices, because they can use voice settings, but if like if you say, for instance, I was talking to you with artificial telepathy, but I set it to be able to use a girl voice. But you knew, say you knew it was me, right? So if you while you're listening to me talk in my girl voice, if you imagine how I really sound, it would like pull me out of that voice setting into my real voice. And like, cause it's your mind, it's your neural monitoring. So you have some mind control over the settings. It bugs them, they're like, stop changing my voice changer. Like,
yeah, dude, dude, that too. And also, I changed mine to some country dumpkin girl voices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Quit fucking with my program is what it said.
This guy Marcus, I always turn him into.
And sometimes the program, the V2K, call me by my name, my God-given name, my parent-given name, Wayne Quinley, or he hit me with the Jay Jackson off my Facebook. That's when I know it's the program, not the handlers, as it would say. You know what I mean? Or whatever, whatever category I put this thing into. But yeah, man. And then I'll sit there and, like you say, I'll be sitting there doing something at work, and I'll fixate something, and I got kind of slick on it to a degree, even though it's my own slickness to myself. But like you, and I'll be imagining something else, and I'll hear it start broadcasting. Oh, he's on the beach somewhere in South Florida again. And no, he's not. He's on a fucking list just for Colorado. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get to say it because I'm a dreamer, man. I got all kind of stuff going on. You know what? Hey, that's one of the reasons that they love to be connected to us. It's very entertaining for them. They're dull people.
I'm a hoot, man.
They love it, man. They love the way our mind works. They're addicted. We're like their drug of choice. I like to turn this guy Marcus. I like to turn him into Pinocchio. I always imagine how Pinocchio sounds, and when he's talking to me, and it'll change his voice into like the Pinocchio voice, and he's like, I don't want to be Pinocchio. It's kind of fun sometimes, but then if you start to have fun, then they might start attacking you or something. They don't want it to be fun for you.
Yeah. It's like it used to get away. It's like I said, I'm like this close to being able to get these folks who on the street level, like I was telling you, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been trying my best. So when I showed back, like when I was away in Florida last winter, they was trying their best to sort of keep me away. It's like I'm on that hill every weekend, pushing out my flyers, man. I did it at Rod Stewart concert, Cyndi Lauper concert last year. I've been doing it, to anybody who will listen, I'm telling them what's going on, to the poverty-stricken areas and also the homeless community. Because like I tell them, one day it's going to be at y'all's house and y'all's middle-class families and y'all's little rich little areas with your little bank jobs you have and your little school teacher jobs, and your kids are going to get done like this. Then what's going to be about your government? You can ignore it all y'all want to while it's not happening to y'all, but one day it's going to come find y'all.
Well,
that's what everybody needs to understand.
Let me ask you this. You went from Denver to Florida and back, and was it the same people talking to you?
Oh yes, same people. Same people.
So I like to remind people that there is no range.
Same people, same voices, same like 5 major voices.
Yeah,
it's like a monarch voice of like a matriarch type female voice who kind of runs everything, so to speak, and then the other little petty voices who kind of keep up with me throughout my day. And then I hear them when I start getting disgruntled mentally, like I'll look at it and get mad. And then I'll hear that hierarchy voice, calm down, Wayne, calm down, to kind of keep my tempo down. When I get off work and I go by the shelter I used to be at where this shit takes place at, and they follow people out of, right when I hit that hill, don't do nothing, you hear me? Leave her alone, okay? There's a bigger picture at play here. Blah, blah, blah. And I'll drive by, and I'll get out sometimes and I'll give out information right in front of them with my stalker shirt on. Because I know they can't do that to me. I have every right to be wherever I want to be.
Yeah.
All the information for free.
Remain defiant. Remain defiant. They want to try to have some control over us, but that's one of the things that they love. There's a lot of these gang stalkers that are doing this broadcast stuff. They've never had any authority, and they found themselves all of a sudden in this position to be able to do this kind of thing to people, and they're feeling this false sense of power, like they're somebody now.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the lady who sat me there that runs that shelter sat there and told me, and she goes, my history, I got out of some bed charges, and like I said, and everything. And she sat me down. She goes, "Do you know what we do here, Jerry?" Because my name's Jerry Wayne. And I said no. And like I said, I was really bad under this hypnosis, man. And she goes, "We stop crime before it happens." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, and then she went to a small detail of, she goes, "Well, there's some bad homeless people in Denver. This is a sanctuary city. We work with other places that monitor people." Little did I know, I was under that monitoring. I'm thinking at this time I'm schizo. Shit. And then, it was crazy. And like a year later, I finally get enough money saved up and enough scare out of my heart, because, like I said, this technology had me in fear for my life, man. I have a history. I'm not some badass or nothing like that, but I don't scare very easy. But this technology had me scared to even go to work without it feeling like I was doing something wrong, like a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what
like
you mean.
Doing something wrong by getting up and having a thought outside of what they wanted me to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the reason it was such a big deal for me to get sober, man. I got sober under that bridge when I asked God into my life, and God gave me the ability to get my ass together and start having a foundation. It took a year to get a full-time job because I couldn't get the tools, and I hadn't had my fifth year. I get choked up. I didn't have my fifth year journeyman in yet, and that's where my major jump in pay would be. So I went from making like $17 an hour in Mississippi to making now $38 an hour, and having everything in the world at my disposal. But now, like I said, Kevin, my time is turned to trying to punish these some bitches for everything I can, but everybody I know and knowing, what's out there around the corner, right on Capitol Hill. You're just waiting for somebody just to cross one of these people's paths so they can destroy their lives. Just like we try to destroy all of ours. But some of us are, if we're fortunate, Kevin, we get to make it out. We something about us makes us to where we can deal with it enough to get on with our lives to some degree, to some normalcy, or whatever the hell normal is.
And we're very driven, man. I'm determined, and I'm glad to hear about your success, man. I'm glad to hear about your success, and I can see that you're determined. And
it's all because of people like you who put information out there for people like me to get when we're at a very immature age mentally of what's going on. You know what I mean? Because let me tell you something. 2 years ago, I was wild now. I was wild. We're going to go get them. I had a mask on, a baseball bat. My Facebook don't lie. I was drunk up. I was to go kill them all, It's like everybody else who knows this program's wrong. It's a bunch of terroristic bunch of shit on homeland soil being used on American civilians who pay their fucking taxes just to be guinea pigs on. Yeah. It's messed up, man.
Yeah, this is a worldwide problem now. This is something that's going on around the world. I talk to people all over the world all the time, and this is happening everywhere. This is the biggest thing. This is the biggest scandal against mankind, crimes against humanity, I believe that's ever happened. And it's like the big secret,
I know, and it's cheap, it's a generational gap. It's like me and my brother, a man who held the law for 11 years and fell victim to this technology. My cousin, Shane, he worked at the White House under the Obama administration doing the school lunches. He was worked with Michelle Obama and them during nutritional stuff for the school system. He jumped off an airplane in Dallas, went running down the landing strip. It's on the news and everything. Yes, I got another cousin of mine out of 6 of us. I got another cousin of mine just went to jail 2 months ago for beating the hell out of his stepdad of 30 years for thinking he was a demon pulling the wings off of him. I'm sure the technology's brutal, bro.
It is, man.
These are people who had things in life. People who had 40-hour-week jobs, car salesmen, people who worked for the White House, a state board, school board. My brother, who was a cop, me, I was just a petty little drug addict. I haven't made it through by the grace of God. They was all professionals. I wasn't professional. Fuck up. But
it seemed like you're gonna be all right.
We're
man.
here now.
We're here now, and this is just the beginning.
That's it, man.
This is
That's
just
it,
the
Kevin.
beginning.
Well, Kevin, look, man, I worked all day, man. I got to get up early tomorrow morning. I'd love to get back on here again with y'all, man. I had a
Yeah,
great time.
definitely. I'll be glad to have you back.
Just chilling.
Yeah. What do you want to tell anybody? Do you have like you want to promote anything, or are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just keep pumping out anything Kevin's pushing out, man. You know, he's putting out everything good, man. And find out as much information as you can about everybody to protect yourself. I mean, don't be so paranoid and schizoid, but always watch your ass, man, because they're out to get us. But just know who's out to get us can't really hurt us unless we do it to ourselves.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Wayne from
Thank
Denver.
You, man. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, man.
Peace out.
Take care.
You too, brother.